we need to talk about certain things. आपको तो पता है कि अभी breast cancer awareness के लिए on PT cell they have the ringtone and then there was this Maulana
who was like yes.
I mean वो तो इस तरह की चीज़ें हैं कि जी कि आप ये भी बात नहीं कर सकते and Pakistan has such a bad rate.
छाती कह के उनका दिमाग खराब
I mean उनकी सोच इतनी है कि उनके दिमाग कहीं और जाते हैं और वो ये नहीं सोच रहे कि अपनी बीवी बच्चे जिसको भी आप बचा सकते हैं आप उनको बचाएं. So let's talk about it. I am so sorry that it's a hard subject to talk about. Obviously I have lost a brother to cancer, तो मुझे पता है कि क्या गुजरती है फैमिली के ऊपर जब आपके घर में कोई सफ़र करता है इस बहुत फजूल किस्म की डिजीज़ के साथ.
फजूल आया उससे बिला वजह की
फजूल. I think I don't know, and I know that you were close to your mother, and I know that your mother went through a lot of pain, and also know the burden that also falls not just on the person who's suffering, and it's also the family and what they go through. And so let's talk about this because was it breast cancer that your mother's?
It was breast cancer the first time.
Okay.
And then 6-7 years later it was lung cancer.
So she
but
was
from
okay.
the same strain of the breast cancer.
Oh.
It had metastasized throughout the body.
So Pakistan में 12% women go through breast cancer every year.
1 in 3 women.
हाँ, 1 in 3. And it's also कि एशिया में सबसे ज़्यादा है और अगर आप अपनी एग्जामिनेशन करें या आप अगर 40 साल से ऊपर हैं तो you have to go to the clinic and you can this can be safe क्योंकि in the western countries, for example in the United States 98% of breast cancer is cured. That's huge. So cure comes from awareness and stopping
early
it from happening.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think Sanam, so tell us a little bit. I don't want to go into too many details.
So the first time was it was cured. It was cured. Cancer is never really cured. It always comes back.
How old was she when she had it?
She was 50. I want to say 55 the first time.
Okay.
Stage 1, she had a routine checkup. A lump was discovered.
So she went for a checkup.
Yeah, she was very good like
good,
that.
Guys. So she went for a checkup.
So a lump was discovered. A biopsy was done. They said it's first stage cancer. You need chemo, radiation.
Okay.
Some, of course, you're lucky with some doctors, you're unlucky with some. Sometimes it's not good to कुछ ज़्यादा काटना, पीटना, निकालना, हमेशा खोजना वो अच्छी बात नहीं होती. वो spread हो जाता है. It's like आप दरवाजे खोल देते हो inside the body for those cells to kind of slip through and कई सालों बाद जाके फटते हैं. Which is basically what happens. Biopsies are not always the best things to get done and you don't want to cut basically because that's an opening.
Okay.
I mean, this is what we were told later and when I was reading it kind of makes sense, but then again you also need to do a biopsy, otherwise how else will you know? So it's a tricky situation. But I mean, she had a mastectomy, she had a lumpectomy, she had radiation and chemo for stage 1.
That's a lot.
Stage 1, stage 2. And then she was in remission, but the treatment kills you. As in, it makes your bones weak, it upsets your mood, it makes you weak.
You need to find
your
better
hair
treatment.
falls. So, but it has gotten better. I mean, my mother had it. It's been 5 years to her. 5 years before that, so it's been about 11-12 years since then. But I know so many friends now whose parents have just been diagnosed with prostate cancer or
which is
lymphoma,
the most common in men,
or lymphoma, breast cancer. So, but their treatment is a little bit better than what it was 12 years ago.
Okay.
Now there's more. I think the pills that you get are stronger. First, there's still IV, but there are pills you can take to keep instead of. It's quite traumatic for the patient also to go sit, वो लगाओ, बैठो, क्या सोच चल रही है. At least when you pop a pill, it's a little bit.
So what was the period of time that your mother, I mean, you biopsy, everything she went through, right? So how long was this process?
I think साल का था. And then 6 साल remission.
Yeah.
But those 6 years were like not the best years of her life.
Obviously. Because
and then the 7th year was like, I'm ready to take on life now. Now वो सारे जो साइड इफेक्ट्स थे of all the medicine over there, वो finally खत्म हुए
6 साल के बाद. And that 1 year, were you with her? Were you like taking care of her? How
we
was
all
it?
were, yeah. We all were. Actually, the first time we totally depended on allopathic treatment.
Okay.
So it was like whatever the doctor was saying, chemo, radiation, ye wo. Thodi si diet change, all of that. But my father and the 3 of us were very hands-on. And then 6 years later, after she finally got over the side effects, 7th year, एक और चेकअप वैसे ही कराया था. तो they were like, now you have stage 4 lung cancer. So that was the big shock for her and everyone.
And that's there are 4 stages.
There are 4 stages.
So,
I
okay.
think है ना. I
Yeah,
think 4th stage
yeah,
is the.
yeah.
So 4th stage के बाद बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. But miracles happen. But it depends if you want to live or not.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm not doing this again.
Really?
Not
So
again.
She didn't
So she
go
gave
through.
up. No. She was
She
like,
didn't
मैं
do.
फिर से अभी because अभी तो सब कुछ
ठीक
ठीक
हुआ
हो
था.
गया था ना. अब दोबारा to go through that, she's like, if it has to eat me, it's gonna eat me, basically,
Yeah.
kind of. So, and when I see some of my friends' parents going through it the first time, it's the first thing I say, and they're also like, there's the will to live,
Yes.
which I saw in my mother the first
Yeah.
time, the will to live.
Yeah.
But I guess if you've gone through it, you're
Yeah.
like, not again. I can't do
Yeah.
this again. And then 10 years later, so you were 54 then, you're like
Yeah.
64, 65
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
64 then she was,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but she had another friend who also had it.
Yeah.
In America, was going through all the allopathic treatments and
Right.
immunotherapy and the best of the best treatments.
Right. And
He didn't make it.
really?
वो तो obviously मौत अल्लाह के हाथ में.
Yeah. I mean, my brother was also very quick. He was 34.
34.
And he had there are 4 types of cancer. Blood cancer. He had leukemia.
Leukemia.
But he went so fast. In 7 months, he was gone.
Oh.
So, when it wants to take you, it takes you. I
Yeah.
know our friend here, Zoren, he's been through it. He's a
Yeah.
survivor. So it's one of those things. It's just I also didn't understand at that time, but I think I know what one goes through as the family. I mean, I was a sister, so my mother was there, and obviously for a mother, it's very hard to see your son and your
Yeah.
child go through something like this. And I mean, I remember seeing my brother, and I know I saw your mother also when she was wearing her scarf and everything. I used to see her around, but I didn't recognize him because he had lost so much weight, and I'd just come from Pakistan, and I was just walking to his apartment, and he had opened the door, and he was just walking outside. So I actually walked past him
Oh.
because I didn't recognize him. He was so skinny, and then he had no hair, obviously, and no eyebrows and no eyelashes, that I actually went like this. For suddenly I realized it's him. And I went like this. And I was like, oh my God. But he was very brave
34.
also. He was very, very brave at the time when he was fighting. And everybody, the thing is, you're right. The will to fight is very important. But also it's draining.
Oh, very
तो
draining.
जो सबके लिए अगर इमेजिन जो बंदा मैं तो जुकाम भी बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सकती. I'm that kind of person. I'm so impatient. So I don't know how your mother did what she did, and that was also very brave, and I think it's very brave of all of you guys and for you to come here and share this story, because I think ये सबसे important चीज़ है. And how, and also maybe mentally, it affects you so badly. I remember being so angry because I just lost my father. And so 3 months later, my brother getting, the word cancer is also such a bad word कि वो सुनते ही इंसान डर जाता है. I was like, what the hell is going on? So I think, mentally it disturbs you. I was angry. I was really angry because suddenly I was the head of the family. I'd been left without a father, without a brother, I had nobody. Husband bhi nahi tha, so I'm like, what the hell? So I can imagine. And did you have any of those feelings of anger or whatever? No? You were okay?
I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like to lose a younger sibling like that at that age, and then a father, and then obviously that sounds like it must have been much harder than what I went through.
I think maybe it was just hard because there was a year of my marriage not working out, and then, for me to get back on my feet with the 2 small children. But, I mean, losing somebody, a family member is a very, very difficult thing, and because there's always hope, and you keep trying, and you keep trying, and you keep trying. So I'm, okay.
But again, I mean, because I've said this many times, I've always thought of death, even when I was younger. What if? Because it's a fact of life that you have to be aware of, accept. And I see a lot of people who are like, no, they're not going to die. No, that they're going to be fine. Oh, if suddenly somebody dies on you, you're going to be very shaken up.
Yeah.
You have to accept and acknowledge the fact that it's such a...
it's a loss that hurts us more than because you miss the person.
Yeah.
I think it's a fact that we know that कि सबने जाना है एक दिन और सबको पता है ये बात, लेकिन हमें सबसे ज़्यादा चीज़ एक्सेप्ट करने में मुश्किल होती है वो ये है कि हम उनको मिस करते हैं. उनकी तो तकलीफ चली जाती है, ख़त्म हो जाती है.
Which is why then what I learned was
Yeah.
to change it from again, I always fall short of the word selfish ही आता है, but it's not a selfish desire, it's a
Yeah. No, but you're right.
natural instinct.
Natural instinct is you don't want them to go.
You don't want them to go,
but they're in pain.
But now they're not in pain, so
Yeah.
be happy for them.
Yeah, we're happy for them.
Celebrate the fact that they are part of such a greater force and energy and
Okay.
world and
Yeah.
जहाँ भी है हमें किसी को नहीं पता ना
Yeah,
कि यहाँ
yeah.
इसके बाद क्या होता है.
Yeah.
इतना तो पता है कि इससे तो बेहतर है.